Brad Keselowski teases big announcements coming for Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing. Fedex is leaving Denny Hamlin and won't return for 2025. Plus, one of the most impressive streaks in NASCAR ended on Sunday. Welcome back to Break Hard. I'm Matt. I don't think anybody's come down from Sunday yet. The fan base is still very much split on whether or not Joey Logano is a deserving champion. Should he be champion? Should he even be in the championship race? He should have. It's not his fault that the 48 got disqualified. But that debate is going to rage on. You can watch yesterday's video about it. You can follow me on TikTok. I put a couple videos up there about it. But we're going to talk about what Brad Keselowski tweeted out after the race. He hopped onto Keselowski Air, flying home from Phoenix, had the Wi-Fi pumping, and decided to fire off a thread of his thoughts on the 2024 season. And I appreciate when Brad's always super open, honest, transparent, and tells you kind of just exactly how it is. And he graded the 6 teams' performance this year, said they really hit their stride back in the spring and early summer, which they did when they won and went to victory lane in Darlington. And then he talked about how they kind of fell off, couldn't really find the speed the rest of the summer, got into the playoffs, and just couldn't ever nail it down. So he was honest about that. But then in his Twitter thread, he also said that you can expect big announcements upcoming in the next 2 weeks for Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing. And I think we all know what those announcements are. A third car coming to RFK Racing in 2025 is expected. They are also expected to land that very, very coveted Kroger sponsorship that is leaving JTG Daugherty Racing. Well, at the end of the year now, they're no longer going to be with the 47 car in 2025. They will instead shift their sponsorship dollars over to RFK, which is a huge get for them. RFK is also kind of just becoming the Cincinnati sponsored team. They've got fifth, third. Now they're going to land Kroger. Two of the biggest players in Cincinnati are now going to be part of RFK, which is great for them because the amount of money that Kroger is spending on the 47 car will now be spent on the third car. And RFK kind of just has an abundance of sponsorship so much that starting a third car up made a lot of sense. Who's going to drive that third car? Well, it's the stepchild, the black sheep, the Harry Potter to the Dursley family of Stewart-Haas Racing. Ryan Preece is expected to be in that ride. And Ryan Preece's relationship with Stewart-Haas Racing at the end of this year and kind of over the last 2 years has been weird at best and kind of icy, chilly, not really part of the family. Just shows up to the family functions because, well, mom and dad kind of want them there, and that's the reason why they show up. But for Preece, Sunday was another perfect example of there just being this massive disconnect between he and Stewart-Haas Racing. At the end of the race, the 4, the 10, and the 14 were all lined up trying to take like a farewell lap for Stewart-Haas Racing. And they asked where the 41 was, and the spotter for the 10 replied that he's on pit road. And I believe somebody else, maybe the crew chief on the 10, responded back on the radio and said, "Here's my surprised face." So clearly Brian Preece and the other 3 drivers just didn't really seem to mesh too well. Stewart-Haas Racing then posted a video of those 3, Josh Berry, Chase Briscoe, and Noah Gragson, walking down pit road post-race together. And it said like from teammates to friends or something along those lines. And Ryan Preece is noticeably not there. And this goes back to earlier in the year when those 3 teammates all talked about how they kind of got together for study hall, like study session, a study hour, to try to get better as a team. And nobody told Ryan Preece. And Preece basically tweeted out the same thing, like, "Oh, nobody told me about it." So yeah, clearly a disconnect there. And after the race, RFK posted a photo of Brad and Ryan Preece walking out of the racetrack together. So if you want to connect the dots here, a little bit of foreshadowing. Yeah, Ryan Preece to RFK in a third car, likely getting a charter, assumingly, from Rick Ware Racing. So that car will be full-time in 2025. Now we just have to wait for the official announcements to come out. We also learned on Sunday that Fedex will not return to Joe Gibbs Racing in 2025 as a sponsor for Denny Hamlin's number 11 car. It was expected. Adam Stern from Sports Business Journal was the first one to post that they would not be coming back. Then he posted a thank you video to Fedex, a sponsor that has been with him every year since 2005. A 19-year relationship comes to an end at Phoenix this past weekend. And it's not shocking, right? FedEx across the board has decided to reduce spend. Like they're looking to save somewhere in the ballpark of like $1 billion a year. And sponsorship, spend was likely a easy way to cut down on how much they were spending and save a lot of money. They already cut short their sponsorship of FedEx Field, where the Washington Commanders played last year. Now they're doing it in the NASCAR side of things. So this isn't a NASCAR-centric issue. This is a FedEx, overall company cost-saving measure. I see a ton of people being like, we lost Lowe's, we lost Home Depot, now we're losing FedEx. It's not really the same. Plus, sponsorships fatigue out. Like 19 years of one sponsor with one team is unheard of. Like even the run that Denny had with them, that's something that doesn't really get replicated outside of like Gordon and DuPont / Exalta, Jimmy Johnson and Lowe's. Stuff like that doesn't happen all the time. And sometimes those sponsors just want to go. There are more places than ever to spend your sponsorship dollars at now, especially compared to the early 2000s. And everybody will point that we had so many different sponsors back then, so many different Fortune 500 companies. Yeah, we did. But we also didn't have sponsorship on MLB jerseys, sponsorship on NFL practice jerseys, sponsorship of MLS teams to be on their jerseys, NBA teams. We didn't have sponsorship on hockey teams. We didn't have Facebook ads back then or Instagram ads or anything else where you can spend those marketing dollars that are being stretched super thin, as a person would know about it. So yeah, you have to really pick and choose, and sometimes sponsorships just fatigue out. And that's kind of what happened here, but also they really were just looking to save some money. And they had already reduced their sponsorship a lot in 2024 compared to other years. But Denny Hamlin came into the sport in 2005 with them when he took over that 11 car at the end of the year after Jason Leffler got the boot, and then Terry Labonte, remember that, did a couple of races in the 11 car. Then JJ Ely did a few, and then Denny finished out the year, took over full time in 2006. And since then has not won a title for them, but took them to victory lane at the Daytona 500, won them 60 plus races, at least as a primary or an associate on the car. They've had a fantastic career with Denny Hamlin. They're also the sponsor of Bobby Labonte's number 18 car in 2005 when JJ Ely failed to qualify for the Coca-Cola 600. Bobby Labonte nearly takes FedEx to victory lane in that race, but gets nipped at the line by Jimmy Johnson. The only time I've ever seen Bobby really get out of the car and get frustrated when he kicked the side of that Joe Gibbs Racing number 18 with the FedEx sponsorship on it. Very bizarre looking. But yeah, FedEx has been around for a long time, and they've been a big supporter of Denny Hamlin. And to see them leave the sport definitely sucks. But like I said, it wasn't unexpected at this point. They are, like I said, doing massive cost savings across the board as a company over there. Now, Joe Gibbs Racing is going to have to find a sponsor to take place. Obviously, Harris Blitzer Sports Entertainment Group has done this sort of umbrella sponsorship with Campbell's. Will that be on the 11 car? Will that be on somebody else's car in 2025? Kind of waiting to see how all of that's going to play out. Obviously, Mavis stepped up this year for Denny Hamlin. Yahoo did as well. And they're going to have to find some other sponsors to take the place for it. But I am going to miss seeing that number 11 hauler go down the road dressed up as a FedEx package, shipping to a racetrack near you. I always thought that was really, really good brand activation in terms of design as a rolling billboard for the company. Overall, FedEx out at the end of the year will not return for Denny Hamlin in 2025. And then on Sunday, when the checkered flag fell at Phoenix, one of the best and probably unbreakable streaks in NASCAR ended. Kyle Busch's 19 consecutive seasons with at least one win in the Cup Series came to an end with a 21st place finish on Sunday. RCR doing an absolute disservice to Kyle Busch in 2020 for not getting him to victory lane. And now, obviously, it's not all RCR's fault. Kyle also was in contention at Kansas earlier this year, wrecked himself off the corner racing with Ross Chastain. Stuff happens. He was going for it, everything that goes along with that. But Kyle's win streak, he's had a win every year since 2005 when he was a rookie at Hendrick Motorsports, picking up his first ever career win in California, and then picking up his second win, also in his rookie year, at Phoenix, the penultimate race of that season. He goes on for the next 19 years to win a race. Even in 2022, he picked up that win at the Bristol Dirt Race after Tyler Reddick and Chase Briscoe. Well, Chase Briscoe wrecked Tyler Reddick. Kyle Busch slides by for the win, and that continued his streak on. And then he goes over to RCR in 2023. In 2023, picks up 3 wins over there as well. And you're like, man, he's going to come into 2024. He's going to win at least one race, right? Kyle Busch always finds his way to victory lane, and he didn't. I mean, RCR even potentially, if you listen to the internet, went out and tried to get some setup help as well and just still could not get him there. Came close. He was in contention, but never really could just get the job done, which is unfortunate because, like I said, I think it's one of those streaks that is going to carry on and potentially never be broken, or at least not anytime soon, because when you look at it, guys like Joey Logano have gone winless recently, a guy that has had a long enough career to potentially do that. Denny Hamlin has had winless years as well. And now the rest of these guys are pretty young still, but like you look at somebody like Chase Elliott, not going to happen for him. Kyle Larson, not going to happen for him. William Byron could if he continues his career on for a long time, but it really comes down to like these guys are going to need to have really long careers to do it. And I'm just not sure some of them are going to at least not be able to, continue to compete at such a high level like Kyle Busch did. So to see his 19-year win streak come to an end is a bit of a bummer. I think we all wanted to see it at least hit 20. That would have been a really cool number. But now he goes into 2025, hopefully maybe finding his way back to victory lane. His post-race radio between he and the team afterwards, it seemed like Kyle was just so checked out on the season. And they were like, we're going to come back better next year, buddy. We're going to kick their ass. Like, we're going to work so hard this winter. And he's like, yeah, 10-4, just got to get better. Like, yeah, dude, I don't know how you get yourself motivated to come to the racetrack to run 21st when you're so used to running up in the top 10, contending for wins. But 2025 is a new year, and maybe RCR will be able to make those changes. I know they're trying to right the ship over there. They're trying to make some good hires. They're trying to get the right people in place. We'll see what happens next year, but Kyle Busch's streak ends, and I don't know if anybody's ever going to touch it at this point. So let me know in the comments what you think about Brad Keselowski teasing the big announcements for RFK, also Ryan Preece's relationship with SHR, Fedex leaving Denny Hamlin and not coming back in 2025, and Kyle Busch's win streak ending. Like and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on TikTok at BreakHard, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at BreakHardBlog.